This is too much!
Milo flipped through the portraits, his eyes red with anger.
These are not noble ladies. This one is a beggar, this one is a criminal, and this one is an 80-year-old widow. The Regent Duke is insulting you on purpose.
I was not angry. I did not want a wife anyway. With my situation, I did not want anyone else to suffer with me. Lucian asked which one I liked. I lowered my head and answered at random, I will only marry someone better looking than me. Lucian smiled. He caught my chin again.
Your Majesty is too beautiful. I fear no one in the world can match you.
His fingertips brushed over my lips. His voice was light as a feather and cold as a knife.
But your Majesty must marry. There is a younger half-sister in my family. She is passably beautiful. She may barely be worthy of your Majesty.
No. I struggled at once and bit his finger hard. I do not want to marry. If the person beside me in bed was also a hawthorn, I would not have even the last bit of freedom. I do not want to marry. Please. I called him the way I had when I was small. Lucian, please. I do not want to marry. Lucian smiled. It was a smile that allowed no refusal.
The wedding will be in half a month.
I was locked away. Lucian said I could come out after the wedding. Milo and I sat in my chamber and grew mold. Even gossip about an island king dressing as a woman to sneak into an abbey could not interest me. On the wedding day, I was dressed like a puppet and pushed through every step of the ceremony.
Your Majesty, it is time to enter the bridal chamber.
Click. The door closed. The matron spoke from behind the screen.
Your Majesty, please lift the bride's veil.
The room was dim with candlelight. The bride sat by the bed, straight as a knight's lance. Why did this bride look taller than me? I wanted to run. But the bride grabbed my wrist. The room spun, and I was pinned to the bed. The veil fell over my face. Red filled my sight.
Your Majesty.
A man's voice sounded by my ear. I began to struggle at once. Lucian Hawthorne, how dare you? Let me go! He bound my wrists with wedding ribbon.
Little star, did you not say when you were small that you wanted to marry Brother Lucian? I worked so hard to bring you back and make you king.
His fingers tugged at my collar.
Give yourself to me, all right?
No, no. I struggled weakly. At that moment, a war drum sounded in the distance. Boom. Then, from the outskirts to the palace, more drums sounded, closer and closer. Boom, 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 boom. Outside the door, a guard dropped to one knee and shouted,
Your Majesty, report from the border. The Black King of the North has come in person. A massive northern host has broken the border city and reached the outer fortress. The capital is in danger.
On the king's wedding night, before the candles had burned down, the ministers filled the war council hall. Aster had been at peace for too long. No one had expected Vald of the North to start a war without warning. The nobles wanted to surrender. The knights wanted to fight. Both sides argued until the hall rang. No one paid attention to me, because the person who would make the final decision was Lucian. He had already changed back into his deep purple regent's coat. It was as if the madness in the bridal chamber had never happened.
My lord, the North planned this long ago.
A border officer was pale.
The commander of the border city turned traitor and opened the gates. The Northern Army has lost almost no men.
A knight snapped,
Call the Eastern Order and strike them from behind. I do not believe we cannot take the Black King's head.
Urgent report!
Another messenger rushed in.
The Eastern Order has rebelled and joined the Northern Army.
In an instant, everyone's face turned ashen. The knight could no longer speak. Death came in the form of one report after another.
Urgent report! The outer fortress has fallen. Urgent report! The Northern Army has surrounded the capital.
We should surrender, Lord Hawthorne.
Yes, the Northern Army has not slaughtered the cities, and they say those who surrender will live.
If we open the gates, there may still be a chance.
Lucian had not spoken from the beginning. Now, at last, he nodded. Surrender. It meant opening the gates. It meant giving up the fight. It meant I, the king, had to hold the royal seal in my mouth, wear a collar of submission, put on a plain sackcloth robe, and crawl out through the city gate to surrender to the Black King of the North. I did not want war. It was winter. The world was too cold. War was too cruel. I had no real ability, but I did not want the people to suffer. Brant, the same Lord Chamberlain who had pushed me to marry at council, was now weeping. He explained the surrender rite to me, step by step.
Your Majesty will suffer.
The old man's voice broke as he cried.
Once you go, we do not know if you will live or...
I reached out and gently smoothed his white beard. It was all right. At least I was finally useful. One could not dress in finery for a surrender rite. Milo came to help me change into a plain sackcloth robe. His hands kept shaking. He tied the belt wrong twice.
Your Majesty, I can get you out.
He lowered his voice and gripped my hand.
I know the palace tunnels. I can take you away.
I covered his mouth, but it was already too late. Men trained with a sword had sharp ears. The Hawthorne guards outside rushed in at once and dragged Milo away. I could only put on the plain robe myself. Soon, they tied my hands with rope and brought me up to the city wall.
Little star.
Lucian stood beside me and fixed the buttons I had done wrong. His voice was calm.
I am sorry. I have to send you away again.
Again. The last time, he had sent me north to Vald as a hostage. Back then, my father had many children. He had long forgotten the son born to a court singer. The North demanded a hostage, but every prince and princess had great houses behind them, with families, mothers, and futures. Which of them could be sent north to suffer? At that time, someone House Hawthorne wanted to protect had been chosen. So Lucian came to me. He put me in new clothes and took my hand.
Lucian, where are we going?
I had been happy then, talking the whole way.
I am taking you outside to play.
That was what he said. Once I left, I was put into a carriage bound for the north. Lucian used me to replace that hostage and saved House Hawthorne from trouble. Because of that, his family began to value him. Later, step by step, he took all of House Hawthorne into his own hands. You do not need to say sorry. It was the first time I spoke back to him like that. Do not make yourself sound noble, as if you made some painful sacrifice. Lucian looked hurt. He lowered his eyes and said nothing more. Rumble, rumble. Far away, black dust rose along the edge of the horizon. Thousands of hooves struck the earth at once, like thunder rolling low across the ground. A black horse broke from the dust first. The man on its back wore black iron armor and no helm. The wind dragged his long hair back and showed a pale, hard face. His eyes were cold and sharp, like a blade drawn in the snow. That was the mad tyrant from the northern stories, the Black King, Kael Lovar.